Imagine a state that's, synonymous with golden beaches, Hollywood dreams, endless sunshine. Now picture that same vibrant landscape holding, well, a surprisingly deep and rich undercurrent of the unexplained, the chilling, and the truly spectral. We're talking about California, and today you really won't need to wait for Halloween for a truly immersive journey into its eerie side. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is a comprehensive exploration of California's most haunted places. You've provided us with a fascinating stack of sources, including 14 extremely haunted places in California Update 2024, 30 haunted places in California packed with the paranormal, and the 12 most haunted places in California, Haunted Room is America. Our goal, as always, is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from these, offering you, our listener, a shortcut to being truly well-informed about the Golden State's unsettling, unseen residents. We'll uncover surprising facts and share some, frankly, genuinely captivating stories.
What's particularly compelling about California as a, let's say, hotbed for paranormal activity isn't just a collection of random spooky spots. It's intrinsically linked to the very fabric of the state. I mean, consider its rich history, from the gold rush, which brought waves of people seeking fortune and often finding, tragedy, to the rapid development and expansion that built bustling cities over forgotten lands. All of this leaves behind millions of untold stories, countless human experiences, both joyful and tragic, whose energies aren't neatly contained. The sheer volume of intense human experience has profoundly impacted the state's spiritual landscape, creating a canvas ripe for unexplained phenomena. It's almost as if the sheer density of human life, in all its forms, has created some kind of resonance.
It certainly paints an unsettling picture. While California projects this vibrant, sunny exterior, our sources reveal a surprisingly shadowy, spectral interior. The state's haunted spots are indeed plenty to spook you to your bones, as one source puts it. It's not just a handful of isolated incidents, but a widespread phenomenon that permeates different types of locations across the state. And as we explore these stories, it helps to think of hauntings in two main ways, which might give us a framework,
Exactly. A framework is helpful here. When we talk about these lingering presences, we often categorize them as either residual hauntings or intelligent hauntings. A residual haunting is like a playback, right? An energetic imprint of an event or emotion that simply repeats, unaware of its surroundings.
Okay.
Think of it like a recording looping over and over.
Okay, like an echo.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
An intelligent haunting, on the other hand, implies a conscious spirit that can interact with its environment, respond to people, or even possess some awareness of its past.
Ah, okay. Interactive.
Right. Understanding this distinction can help us interpret the myriad phenomena we'll encounter. You really don't need to wait for Halloween to encounter the paranormal here. These energies are woven into the daily life and history of California.
That framework will definitely be helpful as we dive right into some of the most intense examples. Let's start with a truly unsettling case that sets a high bar for the strange stories to come. The Entity House in Los Angeles. It's cited as having the most records of paranormal activity encounters.
Right, the Entity House is a small, unassuming house in L.A., but its story is anything but. It gained notoriety back in 1974 when Doris Bither, who lived there with her 4 sons, claimed she was being repeatedly raped and assaulted by 3 spirits. I mean, that's a truly horrific and deeply personal claim.
Absolutely horrifying. And what's chilling is that while initial investigators found little, concrete evidence, they eventually witnessed phenomena firsthand. They observed objects moving and flying around seemingly on their own, which suggests something beyond just psychological distress, almost an active responsive presence.
It wasn't just talk. There was apparently tangible evidence of some unseen force at work. And here's where it gets truly interesting. The belief is that the haunting was tied to a poltergeist that followed Bither and her family to Texas when they moved out after the investigation.
Wow, it followed them.
That's the claim. And it raises a fascinating question about the nature of hauntings, doesn't it? Are they intrinsically tied to a specific location, or can they be attached to an individual following them wherever they go? The Entity House suggests the latter, at least in this instance, pointing towards an intelligent haunting that was connected to Doris Bither herself.
That intensely personal and, seemingly portable haunting certainly does set a high bar. From an entity apparently latched onto a person, we move to a different kind of concentrated energy. The Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. It has a grim reputation as one of Los Angeles' most haunted hotels due to paranormal freightings.
Oh, the Cecil. Its history is just steeped in darkness. It's known for attracting a very transient population and has been the site of numerous suicides, murders, and just deeply unsettling, unexplained deaths over the decades.
Yes, I remember the documentaries.
Exactly. In 2020, even the Ghost Adventures team investigated, and they reported finding, quote, negative energies in the corridors and in some rooms.
And the central mystery that seems to fuel its haunting is related to the death of a strange person in the elevator whose spirit haunts the area. That's a very specific, tragic anchor for lingering energy. It sounds like an intelligent haunting because of that specific focus and reported location.
Yeah, and what's truly compelling here is why hotels, in general, often become such intense sites for paranormal activity. Mm-hmm. They are places of immense human trauma, aren't they? Mm-hmm. People arrive with hopes, fears, seekers, joys, sorrows. They are temporary homes for countless individuals, a crossroads where lives intersect and sometimes tragically end. This concentration of intense human emotion and transient populations creates a potent energetic imprint, making them fertile ground for the unseen. Perhaps the very rootlessness of the transient population contributes to the unresolved energy.
That makes a lot of sense. From the general chaos and concentrated energy of a city hotel, let's transition now to places that are meant for living and lodging, where personal spaces can profoundly retain the energies of their inhabitants and the events that unfold within them. It makes you think differently about where you lay your head at night, doesn't it? Let's start with the Atherton House in San Francisco. It's a 19th century home with what our sources call a very interesting, haunting story.
Right, the Atherton House. Initially, the belief was that the spirits residing there were the original owners, Atherton and his wife, who died in 1887. A classic sort of scenario, right? Homeowners sticking around.
Yeah, the standard ghost story setup.
Could be seen as residual hauntings, maybe? Replaying old domestic scenes?
But then there's another twist, as our source puts it. There's this circulating story that Atherton left the property and now is sailing around South America.
Right.
So if Atherton himself is globe-trotting, who exactly are these spirits still in the house?
Right.
It leaves the identity of the remaining spirits a complete mystery, which makes it even more intriguing.
And this raises an important question about how these ghost stories and local folklore can evolve over time. They adapt to new information, or sometimes they just become more elaborate. The core haunting remains, but the narrative around it shifts. It makes us wonder about the true nature of the lingering presences. Are they simply residual echoes, or is there something more intelligent, maybe even mischievous, enjoying the mystery?
From a traditional, if slightly twisted, home haunting, we move to a far more notorious and complex one. The Whaley House in Old Town San Diego. It's a well-known haunt that now operates as a museum.
Oh, the Whaley House is practically a textbook example of a multi-layered haunting. Built back in 1857 by Thomas Whaley, its history is remarkably varied and, frankly, incredibly tragic.
How so?
Well, it wasn't just a home. It served as a general store, a granary, the Crowdy Theater, and even the town's courthouse.
Yeah.
And crucially, it was built over a former cemetery.
Oh, wow. Built over a cemetery.
Yeah. And it once even included a morgue.
It's almost as if it was designed to be haunted. And the most well-known spirit is Yankee Jim, James Robinson, who was hanged on the property after a conviction for grand larceny.
Right.
Many believe he continues to haunt the place, and there are also reports of encounters with the house's original resident, Thomas Whaley himself. The varied nature of these interactions, from, a hanged criminal to the former owner, suggests a mix of residual echoes from past events and maybe intelligent interactions from distinct personalities.
Exactly. And when we connect this to the bigger picture, it becomes abundantly clear why this place is so active. The accumulation of so many diverse functions, a store, a theater, a courthouse combined with so much death and drama, hangings, tragic accidents, being literally built over a former cemetery, housing a morgue. It creates this incredibly potent recipe for paranormal activity.
Yeah.
It's no wonder it is said to be haunted with such an intense, energetic history. The sheer density of human experience, life and death, just soaked into the foundations.
Indeed. From a house with multiple layers of tragedy, let's explore one defined by a single obsessive construction. The Winchester Mystery House in San Jose. This property certainly lives up to its fearsome reputation.
Sarah Winchester. Her story is truly unique, isn't it? Construction on her mansion began way back in 1884 and famously only stopped when she died in 1922. She spent an estimated $5 million on this endless building project.
$5 million back then.
An astronomical sum at the time.
And the motivation is just extraordinary. She believes she was haunted by all of the victims killed by a Winchester rifle, the rifle her husband's company produced. And she thought the only way to quiet the spirits was to keep on building.
It's a chilling form of penance, maybe? Or perhaps just a desperate attempt to outrun grief and, well, perceived retribution.
Since it opened to the public in 1923, staff and visitors alike have reported several mischievous spirits. This raises an important question. Can intense psychological states like guilt and grief, particularly on such a grand scale, manifest as perceived hauntings?
Or did her obsessive belief genuinely draw in intelligent spirits who were aware of her attempts to appease them? It suggests a strong link between human emotional trauma and lingering energetic imprints, whether you see them as psychological or, well, supernatural.
From houses built out of fear, we move to the Tyler Street house in Fresno. Now, this is described as a peaceful-looking home, but it's reportedly anything but calm inside.
Yeah, this house has apparently been an active scene of poltergeist activity since the 1980s. And we're talking about direct, tangible phenomena. Red eyes peering out of the darkness, and objects fly off the walls and countertops.
Flying objects, so definitely not just a feeling.
Right. This isn't just a residual echo. It sounds like an active, responsive, intelligent presence that directly interacts with the physical environment.
And the most chilling aspect of the haunting, according to our source, this is really disturbing, is that each of the 22 owners since the 1980s has found a bludgeoned cat in the upstairs closet.
Oh, that's awful. 22 owners.
Yeah, that's a specific, repeated, and deeply disturbing act.
What's truly unsettling here is how such a specific and disturbing recurring event suggests a deeply malevolent entity or perhaps even some kind of curse tied to the property itself. It implies a conscious, disturbing pattern that transcends simple residual energy, hinting at something truly sinister at play, something that actively and intentionally causes harm. It distinguishes it from more passive hauntings, for sure.
From private residences with such dark secrets, let's check in with some public hotels that have seen their share of infamous and often tragic pasts. First up, the Brookdale Lodge in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Popular since the 1890s, it gained its creepy and scary place reputation after some tragedies and the death of a guest in 2011.
Right, the Brookdale Lodge. It has a very colorful past, actually. It hosted famous visitors, including celebrities and mobsters, people like James Dean and Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
But it also has its dark side. Guests have made statements about seeing a woman dressed in a white dress running around the corridors, which prompted paranormal teams to investigate.
And the most common apparition reported is the ghost of a little girl in a dress who runs into the lobby and disappears, along with reports of phantom voices in many of the lodge's rooms. The fleeting nature of the little girl often points towards a residual haunting, a repeating loop, but the phantom voices that could suggest something more intelligent.
Yeah. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, locations with such a varied history, from glamour and celebrity to underlying tragedies and illicit activities, can indeed retain a diverse array of energies. The laughter and the tears, the living and the dying, all seem to leave their energetic mark, creating this complex tapestry of presences.
Another hotel, another type of lingering guest. Let's head north to the Mendocino Hotel and Garden Suites in Mendocino. It's described as a beautifully restored hotel that opened in 1878 as the Temperance House. But later, it blended in with the surrounding culture and became a brothel.
Quite a shift in purpose.
Right.
And that transformation seems quite significant for the haunting. The activity here centers on the ghost of a Victorian woman. She's reportedly quite specific in her activity, haunting tables 6 and 8 specifically.
Tables 6 and 8, that's very precise.
Isn't it? And her face occasionally appearing in the various mirrors. Guests even report being visited by her ghost in their rooms. Her distinct actions and apparent awareness suggest an intelligent haunting.
It's as though her energy is tied to the different eras of the hotel, maybe still seeking the life she knew, whether that was as a demure guest during the Temperance House days or something more illicit later on.
Yeah, and this raises an important question. How do shifts in a building's purpose or the nature of its clientele affect the energetic imprints left behind? The Mendocino Hotel seems to carry the echoes of different social strata and activities from distinct periods of its history. It's a testament to how human purpose can shape a place's unseen landscape.
From coastal elegance, we move to the rugged history of the gold rush at the Groveland Hotel in Groveland. It was created in 1914 and heavily used during the creation of the Hetch Hetchy Dam.
Right. The most famous ghost here is Lyle, believed to be a gold prospector who died in his sleep in their hotel but lay there for several days before he was found.
Oh dear. Undiscovered for days.
Yeah. His room is now aptly known as Lyle's room. It really speaks to the harsh realities of the gold rush era. where lives were often solitary and, well, sometimes forgotten.
And Lyle makes his presence known, apparently. Reported phenomena include women's cosmetics getting knocked off his dresser and the water in the bathroom turning off and on. The Northern California paranormal investigators even determined the hotel is home to 2 other ghosts as well. Lyle's direct interaction with objects makes his presence sound very much like an intelligent haunting.
What's particularly chilling here is how the discovery of death in a space, particularly if the body lay undiscovered for days like Lyle supposedly did, can leave such a powerful active impression. That specific kind of lingering energy, perhaps of confusion or just finality, can manifest in very tangible ways, as if the spirit is still very much present in its final space.
From prospectors, let's check into a place that saw its share of speakeasies. The Glen Tavern Inn in Santa Paula. It's described as a beautiful building built in 1911 in Old English Tudor style, but with a, let's say, somewhat ugly past.
Yes, this inn apparently fell on hard times after Prohibition was introduced, which led to its 3rd floor becoming a speakeasy, brothel, and gambling den.
The trifecta.
Right. And this period, full of illicit and intense activities, is believed to have triggered the majority of the paranormal activity reported here.
Room 307 seems to be a real hotspot, haunted by 2 ghosts, a cowboy known as Calvin and a prostitute. Calvin is described vividly as tall and thin, wearing a white shirt and sporting long hair and a goatee beard, seen walking through walls, and often captured in photographs taken by guests.
Walking through walls.
His physical manifestation and movements suggest a residual element, maybe, but the distinct personalities imply intelligence.
And if we connect this to the broader pattern, places where intense, illicit activities, violence, desperation, heightened emotions occurred, tend to create a lasting energetic disturbance. The sheer concentration of such activities at the Glen Tavern Inn during Prohibition would certainly leave a strong imprint, making it a magnet for lingering presences.
From a place of illicit revelry to a hotel defined by a very specific tragic ending, the Hotel del Coronado in San Diego, also known as the Del, it's presented as one of the area's most haunted places.
Right, the Del. The prominent ghost here is Kate Morgan, a young woman believed to have committed suicide on the steps of the hotel that lead down to the ocean. Her story is a very poignant one, forever tied to that specific location and a dramatic final moment.
What's fascinating here is how suicide sites can become focal points for either residual hauntings, maybe replaying the tragic event, or intelligent hauntings, where the spirit is aware and interactive. It seems the sudden and often violent end of life, the intense emotional energy of that final moment, can linger powerfully.
Yeah, creating a strong attachment to the location. It begs the question about the finality of such an act, doesn't it? And whether that emotional intensity somehow prevents a spirit from moving on, leaving them eternally tied to the place of their deepest despair.
Our final hotel in this section takes us to arguably the most iconic hotel in Hollywood, the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Opened way back in 1927, it remains the oldest continually running hotel in the city and has hosted some big names.
And apparently, many of those big names seem to have stuck around. Its reputation as one of the most haunted hotels in California is largely due to its celebrity ghosts. We're talking about Marilyn Monroe, seen appearing in the mirror of room number 229 and also dancing in the hotel's ballroom.
Marilyn herself. Wow.
That's the report.
And it's not just Marilyn. Montgomery Clift's ghost is haunting room number 928, the room he occupied while filming From Here to Eternity back in 1953. Our sources also mention reports of remarkably well-dressed and dapper ghosts reflecting the hotel's storied glamour. The specific identifiable actions of these spirits suggest intelligent hauntings, perhaps simply continuing their glamorous lives in the afterlife.
What's truly intriguing here is to ponder how the intense glamour, ambition, and often the personal struggles and pressures of Hollywood stars might leave such indelible imprints. Their lives were lived so publicly and intensely. Perhaps their spirits are just continuing the performance, unable or maybe unwilling to leave the spotlight, forever tied to the very essence of Hollywood itself.
From the glitz and glamour of haunted hotels, we shift our focus now to locations associated with discipline, care, or education places where intense emotions, suffering, and strict routines often leave deep, energetic imprints. Think about the pervasive energy in a place of confinement, for instance. And there's probably no more infamous place of confinement than Alcatraz Island in San Francisco Bay. This former high-security prison is presented as a significant haunted location, with most of the spooky places located on this island. It's said that just by roaming around, you will find many stories of paranormal activities and haunting and the dense forestry, only adds to the eerie feeling.
Oh, Alcatraz truly is a breeding ground for the paranormal. The entire building is soaked in fear, regret, anger, pain, and death, the perfect recipe for restless souls and much darker entities. The conditions, the dangerous criminals housed there, the sheer misery, it all combines to create this powerful, energetic residue. It's probably a mix of both residual echoes and potentially intelligent presences born from extreme suffering.
One of the most feared presences on the island is known simply as the Thing, which is said to have red glowing eyes. And apparently it's been seen not just by visitors today, but by prisoners and staff back when Alcatraz was operational.
That's chilling, the continuity of the sightings. Other common reports from Alcatraz include disembodied voices, sobbing screams, banging of cell doors, and putrid smells, which some people interpret as indicating a demonic presence. And visitors have experienced very personal encounters, being touched, feeling cold spots, and even having emotional outbursts of either sadness or anger.
Wow.
Some have even said that they encounter apparitions who spoke to them of abuse at the hands of guards and other inmates. These direct interactions clearly point towards intelligent hauntings, likely rooted in profound trauma.
Yeah, the sheer concentration of misery, violence, and despair within those prison walls certainly creates a powerful, lasting imprint. From a notorious prison, let's move to a reform school with its own dark history, Preston Castle in Ione. Our source calls it one of the strange haunting places, noting that no gruesome death stories or tragedies are tracked to the castle, yet it's still considered a haunting place.
Yeah, that's an interesting distinction, isn't it? While no specific gruesome deaths are publicly known, its historical role was as the Preston School of Industry, a boys' reform school. And its violent history is probably the reason for its infamous haunting, which has even been featured on a number of paranormal shows, including Ghost Adventures.
Okay, so the overall atmosphere of suffering, perhaps.
Right. And the paranormal activity here is described as plentiful as the bats that live within its crumbling walls. So even without a singular dramatic death event being widely known, the prolonged suffering and confinement of young people in a harsh institutional environment can clearly create powerful, lasting, energetic imprints. Maybe a collective residual haunting of despair, even if specific spirits aren't identified.
That begs the question, does the systemic suffering within an institution leave a collective imprint, even if individual tragedies aren't widely publicized? The energy of confinement and despair could be just as potent as a single violent death, creating a pervasive atmosphere of unease.
Exactly. From that former reform school, let's explore another former place of confinement, this time within a bustling city. The Lincoln Heights Jail in Los Angeles. It's described as an abandoned and dilapidated old Art Deco building that was once teeming with angry and violent inmates.
Yeah, this jail was impressively large, housing as many as 2,800 inmates at a time, including Al Capone.
Al Capone was there.
Apparently so. The sheer volume of concentrated negative energy, conflict, and despair from so many individuals over decades would certainly leave a strong mark, potentially fostering both residual and intelligent hauntings.
And the reported phenomena here include apparitions, cold spots, odd noises, and more. There's also talk in the city, apparently, of revitalizing the old girl, restoring it to its former glory.
Which raises an interesting question. When the jail is restored to its former glory, will its new residents come in contact with its old residents? Can renovation displace these spirits, or will it merely awaken them and make them more active? It's a fascinating thought experiment about how human intervention and new life in old spaces might interact with deeply ingrained, lingering energies.
It really is. From places of confinement, let's move to places of healing and education. First, the Linda Vista Hospital in Los Angeles. It has a weird history that lends itself well to tales of hauntings, and our source acknowledges that abandoned hospitals are common sites for such stories due to all the emotional energy and death.
Right. Linda Vista Hospital's history changed dramatically over time. It was initially a thriving hospital serving first the Santa Fe Railroad and later the surrounding community. But by the 1980s, it became a place where victims of violent crime were treated and often died.
Okay.
This shift in purpose, from general care to critical trauma, significantly amplified the concentration of suffering and death within its walls, creating a profound energetic signature.
In the early 2000s, it was apparently a crumbling building ghost hunters frequented, including the Ghost Adventures team. They were responding to reports from members of movie and television crews filming in the creepy abandoned buildings who reported any number of paranormal events.
So, a popular spot for filming and ghost hunting.
Yeah. And what's particularly intriguing here is its current status. Now, It's been given new life as a retirement home.
A retirement home. Wow.
Which begs the question, whether in its new incarnation the claims of ghostly doctors and patients roaming the halls remain is anyone's guess. Yelpers suggest it still is.
Leave it to Yelp.
Right. It really makes you wonder how new uses for old buildings might interact with deeply ingrained, lingering presences. Maybe there's even a resonance between the vulnerable, elderly new residents and the spirits of those who suffered there previously.
From the institutionalized sick, we move to the institutionalized young, Washington Elementary School in Alameda. Our source highlights that schools, due to the sheer number of people who pass through their doors, are places of strong memories, both happy and sad.
Mm-hmm. And the haunting at Washington Elementary seems rooted in a specific, tragic, local legend. A 13-year-old boy who died while the school was being renovated. Apparently, he strayed into an off-limits area, fell through a hole in the floor, and wasn't discovered until much later.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It really is. And the reported phenomena directly relate to that tragedy. Strong feelings of dread in the area where the boy died, scratching, knocking, and bangs in the same hallway, and mysterious shadows flit through corridors, particularly at twilight.
That sounds like a mix of residual terror and possibly an intelligent, distressed presence.
Yeah. What's truly poignant here is how the energy of such a profound traumatic loss, a young life cut short in a place meant for learning and growth, might manifest as a persistent, perhaps even residual haunting, eternally replaying the moment of its trauma, potentially impacting the students and teachers still present in the building. It's a somber reminder of the hidden histories within seemingly ordinary places.
From the structured environments of institutions, let's shift our gaze now to the vast, open, and often tragic landscapes of California, its roads, mines, and waterways, where human tragedy and geological features sometimes combine to create these unsettling atmospheres. We can begin with the abandoned echoes of the ghost town of Falk in Eureka. It was described as a very alive town which had been abandoned.
Right, Falk's history is steeped in industry. It was home to more than 350 lumber families, where the timber industry was booming, before the town was eventually abandoned gradually. There's a profound melancholy, I think, in places that were once bustling with life, now left to decay. It's a testament to how human energy can linger long after the physical presence has departed.
And this sense of abandonment, of lives abruptly displaced, suggests the presence of residual memories, maybe, or even spirits unwilling to leave their former homes. It makes you feel the weight of forgotten time, doesn't it?
It really does. What's fascinating here is how the collective energy of an entire community, once vibrant and industrious, can linger after everyone has departed. It's an imprint of collective human experience on a physical space, almost as if the very air holds the memories.
From one ghost town, we find another eerie location with a very specific, intriguing grave. Frankenstein's grave in the old ghost town of Body.
Body. It's truly a preserved ghost town, isn't it? It allows visitors to really imagine the hard Victorian life that once existed there, and that unique name, Frankenstein's grave, certainly adds to the allure. Apparently, most people enjoy taking shots of the grave to recall the eerie memory later.
So it's more about the name and the atmosphere.
It seems so. What's compelling here isn't necessarily a detailed ghost story from our sources, but how such a distinct name and the setting of a decaying ghost town contribute to an overall feeling of dread and the allure of, well, dark tourism. The name alone sparks the imagination, evoking a sense of unnatural disturbance.
It truly speaks to the power of narrative, how a name can become shorthand for a whole host of unsettling associations, drawing people in for that eerie experience, whether a literal ghost is present or not.
Exactly. From specific grave sites, let's look at broader burial grounds, starting with Julian Cemetery. Its expansion is connected directly to the gold rush when many people died in the process and burial grounds were expanding at an alarming rate.
This cemetery is now home to hundreds of marked and unmarked graves, and it's no surprise that plenty of haunting stories circulate about it.
No surprise at all.
The sheer volume of human remains and untold stories concentrated in one place, particularly from an era of rapid, often violent deaths like the gold rush, could certainly leave a powerful, energetic imprint. Maybe a pervasive residual haunting of a chaotic, challenging era.
Then there's Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
This is the final resting place of many of Hollywood's brightest stars, located right on Santa Monica Boulevard, bordering Paramount Studios.
It's an incredible who's who of cinematic history, isn't it? Graves of Douglas Fairbanks Jr., Cecil B. DeMille, and Charlie Chaplin, among many others. But apparently, many of the cemetery's residents aren't exactly resting easy.
That seems to be the case. Reports include ghostly figures walking from the cemetery's gate and into Paramount Studios.
Into the studio.
Right next door. And the ghost of a mysterious lady in black who mourns at the grave of the legendary Rudolph Valentino. The notion that these famous figures are still drawn to the very heart of the industry that defined them implies an intelligent haunting, maybe a lingering attachment to their former lives.
This begs the question. Do the intense ambitions, public lives, and struggles of Hollywood stars lead them to linger, perhaps drawn back to the very industry that defined their lives, even in death? It's the idea of stars who never truly leave the spotlight, forever tied to their stage.
From the famous to the truly fearsome, let's turn to Oak Park Cemetery in Claremont, which apparently has a pretty fearsome reputation.
Okay, fearsome how?
Well, what's particularly disturbing here is the sheer aggression of the reported phenomena. There are reports of small gray apparitions running around the cemetery in the hours of darkness, with some witnesses claiming these apparitions are actually prone to attack people.
Attack people in a cemetery?
Yeah. And it doesn't stop there. Our sources mention countless sightings of shadow men lurking in the burial ground, strangely light anomalies captured on camera, and even a tall winged apparition that walks down the driveway.
Winged? That sounds far from a peaceful resting place.
It really does. And it's particularly unsettling because cemeteries are traditionally associated with peaceful rest, right? The idea of aggressive, intelligent hauntings in such a place suggests a powerful, perhaps malevolent disturbance that goes beyond passive residual energy. It's a very unsettling contrast to what one might expect, hinting at something truly disturbed.
From cemeteries to old industrial sites, let's explore the Erie Cannery. I mean, the name Erie Cannery itself is enough to let you know that it is a haunted place.
Right. This cannery was once part of a booming fishing industry, but now only remains exist, abandoned years ago with gray water flows through it. The decay of once thriving industrial sites, especially if they harbored forgotten tragedies or maybe just harsh working conditions, can certainly create a chilling atmosphere. It fosters a sense of lingering presence.
That kind of visual decay definitely fosters tales of hauntings, suggesting that the industry's spirit, or perhaps the workers' spirits, never truly left, leaving behind a residual echo of past labor and hardship.
It really highlights how the physical environment, particularly when it's fallen into disrepair and feels desolate, can amplify a sense of dread and invite supernatural interpretations. Whether or not specific ghost stories are attached, the very atmosphere becomes the haunting in a way.
From abandoned industry, we venture into abandoned tunnels. The tunnel intruder in Sausalito is described as a tunnel that will give you goosebumps when you go near it. And apparently, it does not matter if it is day or night. People think twice before going near it.
The description is pretty evocative. The dark tunnel has not been maintained for years, making it more spooky and is in the process of ruins. And there's this chilling warning. Who knows if zombies are lurking in the shadows or not?
Okay, maybe a bit dramatic, but it gets the point across.
Yeah. But it speaks to the power of atmosphere, decay, and urban legends in creating a sense of dread, even without specific verified ghost sightings. Sometimes the idea of what might be lurking is enough to spook you, tapping into those primal fears.
It's about the psychological impact of a space, isn't it? A derelict, unmaintained tunnel, especially one no longer in use, becomes a blank canvas for our deepest fears and the stories we invent to fill the void, creating a powerful residual feeling of unease.
Definitely. From a spooky tunnel, let's hit a spooky road. East 8 Mile Road in Stockton, described as one of California's most haunted sites, just a specific stretch of road.
And the prominent haunting here is the spirit of a witch who appears on the road. Apparently, many a heavy goods vehicle driver has reported a scary woman in a tattered white dress standing in the middle of the carriageway.
Standing in the middle of the road, that's terrifying for a driver.
Absolutely, and there's a particularly chilling legend associated with her. If you turn back to take a second look at the phantom, you will see the spirit sitting in your back seat.
Oh, come on, that's classic horror movie stuff.
Isn't it? There are also reports of a Native American girl wandering the road on the night of the full moon, and locals say she can be heard screaming. These varied accounts suggest maybe both intelligent and residual hauntings occurring on the same stretch of road.
Oh, what's fascinating here is how open, often isolated stretches of road become canvases for local folklore and unsettling encounters. They're sort of liminal spaces, aren't they? Where the natural world meets human travel, and the stories often reflect that untamed, unpredictable quality of the journey.
Another haunted road, but this one with a more gruesome history, is Old Stage Road in Salinas, which is notorious for many a haunting.
Right. The most common haunting here is that of a young woman who was violently murdered and decapitated in the field. It said her ghost roams the roadway as she holds her head in her hand.
Oh my goodness, holding her head.
Yeah, a truly disturbing image. It highlights how violent, traumatic deaths can result in powerful, often visually graphic, residual hauntings. The energy of that final, horrific moment is so intense that it's seemingly replayed for those sensitive enough to perceive it. A perpetual echo of a brutal end.
These kinds of graphic residual hauntings often suggest a profound injustice or an unacknowledged pain forever etched into the landscape where the tragedy occurred, unable to find peace.
From roads, we move to bridges known for tragedy. The Colorado Street Bridge in Pasadena. Described as a beautiful structure, but it has a dark side, known locally as the Suicide Bridge.
And the statistics are chilling. An unusually high number of suicides, with the latest figure cited at about 102, and that number is apparently constantly growing since its first recorded death in 1919. Some even claim local authorities have been known to knock off a few numbers whenever they get too high, which just adds to the unsettling lore.
They fudge the numbers. That's dark.
It is, and the hauntings reflect this tragic history. Many reports of a man jumping off of the railing, but he vanishes before hitting the water. Also, a female apparition crossing the bridge, causing drivers often have to swerve to avoid her, but she always disappears when they come too close. And there's the common urban legend of a construction worker who fell from the bridge into wet concrete, where he remains entombed. The repeated actions suggest residual hauntings, maybe, but the driver swerving implies a reactive, perhaps intelligent element.
What's fascinating here is the cumulative effect of so many desperate acts on one location. The alleged suppression of information, the fudging the suicide figures, might even contribute to the restlessness of the spirits, as if their tragic stories are being denied, making them unable to rest. The sheer weight of despair seems to have just saturated the very structure.
From suicide bridges, let's head to isolated lighthouses. Our sources ask, what is it about lighthouses that makes them so frequently wind up on lists of haunts? Suggesting possibilities like proximity to giant bodies of water or just the sheer isolation. This is certainly true for Battery Point lighthouses in Crescent City, built way back in 1856.
Yeah, it was decommissioned in 1965, leaving behind this legacy of solitary dedication. Reported phenomena include guests being touched by an unseen presence and witnessing objects moving, as well as hearing the sound of large boots walking up and down the lighthouse stairs.
Being touched and hearing boots.
The tactile experiences and specific sounds suggest intelligent hauntings, perhaps the former keeper still making his rounds.
What's fascinating here is to explore the solitary nature of lighthouse keeping and how the dedication of these individuals to their lonely posts, often for decades, might leave a profound lasting imprint on the structure itself. It's like the echoes of a life of duty and isolation, perhaps still carrying out their task or simply unable to depart from the place that was their entire world.
It makes you wonder if it's the intense focus on one task in such an isolated environment that causes the energy to sort of condense and remain.
From coastal lights to a tragic lake, Stowe Lake in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco is apparently home to the Stowe Lake ghost.
Oh, this haunting is tied to a truly heartbreaking legend. A woman whose baby carriage rolled into the lake while she talked with another woman. She then ran through the park asking, "Have you seen my baby?" until she discovered her baby in the lake.
Oh, how awful.
It's terrible. And the tragedy doesn't end there, as to this day she continues to ask park goers to help them find her baby. This is a classic example of residual haunting, isn't it? A perpetual loop of grief and loss replaying for those who encounter it.
What's profoundly sad here is how the immense tragedy of losing a child, such an intense and unbearable grief, might manifest as a repetitive residual haunting, eternally replaying the moment of loss, a desperate, endless search for what was taken. It's just a powerful emotional echo.
Finally, from a public park to a specific historical coastal spot, the Moss Beach Distillery. This haunted place was a beautiful little speakeasy along the shore of the sea where several businessmen, politicians, and influential people would sneak off to drink and chat. And during the Prohibition era, as we know, speakeasies had sordid stories of innumerable deaths and violence.
Right, that mix of revelry and danger. This combination of illicit activity, often punctuated by violence, created a unique energetic signature. The most famous ghost here is the Blue Lady, Kate, an apparition so enthralled with the fashion of the day that she often appears wearing different outfits.
Different outfits, that's quite specific.
It is. Her conscious decision seemingly to change outfits suggests a playful, maybe even vain, intelligent haunting.
And Kate is quite active, apparently. Paranormal activity includes swinging lamps, breaking glasses, and full-body apparitions. She sounds like she's still enjoying the party, in her own way.
It really highlights how a place of both heightened emotions, whether from illicit pleasure or sudden violence, can create a vibrant yet unsettling spiritual residue, leaving behind very active and distinct intelligent presences who continue their revelry or perhaps their more somber tasks.
We've explored some truly haunting locations, but now let's transition to places that are iconic for reasons far beyond their hauntings, making their paranormal aspects even more intriguing and sometimes, well, darkly ironic. We're talking theme parks and grand vessels.
Let's start with a truly surprising one. Disneyland in Anaheim. While Haunted Disneyland sounds like a theme park attraction, our sources confirm that there are actually several ghosts residing in the theme park. It's the happiest place on Earth, juxtaposed with its haunted secrets.
It's quite the irony, isn't it? Even the Haunted Mansion, a ride about ghosts, seems to have real ones. Visitors report seeing the apparitions of an elderly man and woman ascending the grand staircase or vanishing among displays. These sound like classic residual haunts. But then, there's supposedly a nastier spirit. Occasionally troubles guests and workers in the attic and dark corners, with people reporting their hair pulled, being shoved or pinched or feeling watched. That suggests a more malevolent, intelligent presence.
And it's not just the mansion. Other rides said to be haunted include It's a Small World attraction, Matterhorn Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Space Mountain, with many legends of guests who died on those rides and continue to haunt the area.
What's truly disturbing, though, and this is documented, is the truth of families scattering the ashes of their loved ones, without permission, on favorite rides. Custodians have discovered ashes, bone fragments, and even a jawbone.
Oh my goodness, scattering ashes in the rides.
Without permission, yes. And to add another layer, apparently real human bones are also used in the decor at the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Wait, real bones? In Pirates?
That's what one source claims. And of course, the ghost of Walt Disney himself is reportedly seen in his former apartment above the fire station on Main Street, perhaps still overseeing his creation.
This raises an important question. How can a place built on fantasy and joy harbor so much genuine paranormal activity? Perhaps the intense emotions associated with cherished memories, even in death, can create lasting imprints. It makes Disneyland a surprising convergence of the living, the mechanical, and the truly spectral.
Yeah, the sheer emotional investment from millions of visitors might contribute to this unique, energetic landscape.
From the happiest place on Earth to a majestic ship with countless souls, the RMS Queen Mary, permanently docked in Long Beach. It's presented as one of the most haunted locations in the state and recognized by many as one of the most haunted hotels in the world.
The Queen Mary is just a self-contained world of hauntings. Our sources actually encourage listeners to walk the decks between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning for a good chance of seeing an apparition.
That's a bold invitation.
It is, and the common hauntings are numerous. The first-class swimming pool is haunted by 2 female spirits who are said to have drowned in the 1930s and 1960s, seen as apparitions. Psychics also report a negative presence coming from the changing rooms.
Other reports include a lady in white in the Queen's Salon, a male in 1930s attire in the first-class suites, and the sounds of children playing near the storage room. Plus, the commonly reported ghost of John Palmer, a man who died in a freak accident in the ship's engine room. The diversity of these hauntings, from specific apparitions to general sounds, suggests both intelligent and residual presences coexisting.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, a self-contained environment like a ship, which served as a home, a transport, and a site of numerous life events, births, deaths, parties, even wartime transport, it becomes this microcosm of human experience. All those concentrated energies would naturally become trapped within its hull, leading to its powerful reputation as a floating city of lingering souls.
It's a truly unique environment for paranormal activity. From a grand ocean liner, we move to a naval battleship, the USS Hornet in Alameda. It's called one of America's most haunted battleships, according to parapsychologist Lloyd Auerbach.
Right. The Hornet was commissioned in 1943 and saw extensive involvement in the Pacific theater of World War II. It was a place of high stakes, intense pressure, and undoubtedly profound loss.
And the reports from the Hornet seem to reflect that intense history.
Mm-hmm.
Disembodied voices, full-body apparitions, and the sounds of tools clanking against aircraft parts.
Mm.
What's fascinating here is how the intense, high-stakes environment of wartime service, particularly on a ship that saw so much combat, can imprint powerful energies of duty, fear, and sacrifice onto the very structure itself. It creates residual echoes of its past functions and maybe intelligent presences of those who served.
From military vessels, let's look at military barracks. The 41 Area Barracks at Camp Pendleton. Our source states that on the second floor of one of the base barracks, a Marine who committed suicide still walks the halls.
The specific activity reported includes the Marine being said to move furniture, which points to an intelligent haunting. And here's where it gets really interesting and quite personal. Believers say, if you listen closely, you can hear him humming the tune to the game show Jeopardy!
Humming Jeopardy!
That's the claim.
That detail is so specific, it's almost unsettlingly intimate. It highlights how a military setting, with its intense discipline and emotional toll, can become a site of lingering personal tragedy, carrying the specific quirks of a life lost. It makes you wonder about the individual behind the uniform, even in death.
It truly makes you ponder about the individual stories behind these hauntings, doesn't it? Not just the broad categories of suffering or the nature of the space itself. That specific detail transforms the haunting from a general phenomenon into a truly unique, identifiable spirit.
From places of conflict, let's explore the grand stages of entertainment. The Hollywood Pantages Theater, where you might encounter a ghostly barking dog or the spirit of the one and only Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes himself.
Apparently. He had offices on the second floor of the Pantages, and many report seeing his ghost in those offices, alongside reports of a phantom woman. It makes a certain kind of sense that such a titan of industry and, well, renowned eccentric would linger in a place of his former influence, perhaps as an intelligent haunting still overseeing his empire, or just unable to leave.
What's fascinating here is how a theater, a place of concentrated performance and human emotion, can become a stage for the afterlife. Perhaps holding the energies of past performers, patrons, and even powerful figures like Hughes, who once commanded its spaces. The very drama of life, amplified in such a venue, might just continue on a different plane.
The intensity of the creative and emotional energy within the theater seems to be a powerful attractant for lingering spirits, almost like a permanent audience or cast.
Now for some profound irony, Houdini's mansion in Los Angeles. The former mansion of the icon of illusion is said to be haunted by his spirit, especially given Houdini's vigorous debunking of mediums, ghosts, and seances.
It's the ultimate posthumous trick, isn't it? Phenomena commonly heard include footsteps, and many apparitions of a dark man have also been reported. While the estate is not open for public visits, apparently you can rent the mansion for long-term stays, if you're truly interested in experiencing this paradox.
Rent Houdini's haunted mansion. Wow.
Yeah. This raises an important question. Did Houdini's lifelong skepticism and deep fascination with the afterlife, his constant attempts to prove or disprove it, somehow lead to his own lingering presence? A final, ironic trick from the master illusionist himself. Perhaps his very intellectual energy manifested in a unique way.
It's a very meta-haunting, isn't it? A testament to a life entirely consumed by the mysteries of reality and illusion, perhaps still performing his greatest trick by being present where he claimed spirits didn't exist.
From human stars to their beloved animal companions, let's visit the Los Angeles Pet Memorial Park in Hollywood. This park houses the remains of famous canine actors such as Petey from the Little Rascal show and pets owned by the stars.
Okay, so pet ghosts.
Apparently. The focus here is on the ghost of a greyhound dog thought to be Rudolph Valentino's former pet named Kabar, who haunts the area near his grave. It's a comforting thought, really, a beloved pet remaining loyal even in death.
And visitors may truly feel your hand licked or touched, or a gentle shove against your legs as if Kabar is nudging you for attention as he's looking for a biscuit or a pat on the head. This interactive behavior clearly points to an intelligent haunting, a spirit still seeking affection.
What's truly heartwarming here is the comforting notion that the love and loyalty between humans and their pets can transcend even death. It's a gentle, reassuring haunting in contrast to many of the others we've discussed, a pure form of enduring connection.
From beloved pets, let's explore perhaps the most unusual haunted place in California, the Castle Air Museum in Atwater.
This one is truly unique. Documented activity around a B-29 bomber plane. Photographs apparently show classic spirit orb activity.
Orbs around a bomber?
Yeah. And the reports from workers are compelling. Having tools handed to them when no one else was in the plane.
Handed tools? By whom?
Exactly. And one employee reported seeing the plane's light on at night while the plane itself was locked inside a building with no one else inside, even though the plane's light system wasn't working at the time. There are also fascinating reports of bangs, knocks, and other sounds from within the cockpit. This kind of interaction with an inanimate object sounds very much like an intelligent haunting attached to the plane.
This raises an important question. How can inanimate objects, especially those with such historical significance or involvement in intense human activity, like a bomber plane that saw combat retain energetic imprints or become vessels for intelligent hauntings? Is it the residual energy of those who piloted or worked on it forever tied to their machine? Or perhaps the intensity of its past purpose?
From mechanical marvels, let's shift to musical echoes. Have you heard of the ghost pianist at the Villa Montezuma Museum in San Diego?
A ghost pianist. Tell me more.
The story is of a classical pianist named Jesse Shepard, who played in the museum when it was a villa. People apparently often hear the sound of the piano playing Mozart, Beethoven, and other tunes as they pass by. Notably, no one saw any ghosts, but people say the spirit of the talented Shepard plays magical music.
This is a beautiful, gentle, artistic haunting. It's a lovely counterpoint to some of the more frightening tales we've heard, isn't it? It highlights how passion and talent, rather than just trauma, might linger in a place, creating a harmonious and pleasant, intelligent presence, still sharing his art.
It suggests that strong creative energy, a life dedicated to art, can also leave a powerful, resonant impression that transcends the physical. A beautiful and enduring energetic signature.
From musical notes, we go to a glowing apparition at the Sacramento Theater Company, noted as one of the most haunted places in Sacramento.
Right. It claims at least 5 resident ghosts. But the most popular and perhaps the most visually distinct is Pinky, an apparition that gives off a glowing pink aura.
Pinky, a glowing pink ghost.
That's the description. The unique visual manifestation suggests a very distinct, intelligent presence.
Similar to the Hollywood pandages, this illustrates how the dramatic energy of a theater, a place of performance and heightened emotion, can create a vibrant, unseen population, perhaps still drawn to the stage and the spotlight.
It speaks to the theatricality of the afterlife, if you will, where spirits might literally shine in the very spaces where human creativity and emotion once took center stage.
And finally, from performance spaces to academic landmarks. Sather Tower in Berkeley, it's one of the most popular landmarks in Berkeley, completed in 1917 with historic views and, of course, its own haunting tales. The source notes, the old architecture reminds you of the home of the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Quite the comparison.
It is. The description emphasizes the visual. From the perch high above, the view can be quite terrifying. What's fascinating here is how imposing historical architecture, even without specific tragic events detailed in our sources for this location, can inherently evoke an eerie feeling and naturally draw out ghost stories from the collective imagination. Maybe a kind of residual atmosphere, rather than a specific haunting tied to an event.
We've taken quite the journey through California's unseen residents, haven't we?
We certainly have. So, what does this all mean? We've seen the sheer diversity of haunted locations across California, from grand hotels to abandoned mines, bustling theme parks to quiet cemeteries. And it's clear how deeply intertwined these stories are with the state's vibrant and often violent history.
Yeah. And what stands out when you look at all these stories is how many common threads emerge in the reported phenomena and how those can often be categorized, like we've been doing.
Exactly. We heard about full-bodied apparitions like the Victorian woman at Mendocino Hotel, Lyle at Groveland, Kate Morgan at Hotel del Coronado, Marilyn Monroe at Hollywood Roosevelt, Kate the Blue Lady at Moss Beach Distillery, the Marine at Camp Pendleton, the woman on Old Stage Road, and those figures at Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Many of these appear to be intelligent hauntings given their distinct identities and actions.
Then there are the disembodied voices and sounds reported at Alcatraz, the USS Hornet, Brookdale Lodge, the Hollywood Pantages, Washington Elementary School, Hollywood Roosevelt, Lincoln Heights Jail, and that Native American girl screaming on East 8 Mile Road, or the humming of Jeopardy at Camp Pendleton. Those could be a mix of both residual echoes and intelligent communications.
Right.
We also heard about the physical manipulation of objects at the Entity House, Battery Point Lighthouse, Groveland Hotel, Tyler Street House, Moss Beach Distillery, the USS Hornet, the Castle Air Museum, and the 41 Area Barracks. That direct interaction strongly suggests intelligent hauntings. And don't forget the emotional sensations and cold spots experienced at places like Alcatraz, Washington Elementary, the Cecil Hotel, and Lincoln Heights Jail, which can accompany either type. Many of these lingering presences seem tied to profound tragedy or strong emotions. Suicide bridges, murder sites, old hospitals, prisons, reform schools, gold rush cemeteries, creating both specific intelligent presences and broader residual imprints.
And we even had the intriguing aspect of animals haunting, like Kabar the dog at LA Pet Memorial Park, and that barking dog at the Hollywood Pantages Theater, showing that connection transcends species.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these stories, whether you interpret them as literal ghostly encounters or as powerful folklore, serve as really important narratives. They preserve history, highlight tragedy, and reflect the enduring human condition. This raises an important question. Why do we tell these stories, and what do they reveal about our relationship with the past, with trauma, and with the unknown?
That's a great question.
We've seen examples that hint at both residual hauntings, those repeating energetic imprints, like the woman at Stowe Lake perpetually searching for her baby, and intelligent hauntings, interactive spirits aware of their surroundings, like Lyle moving cosmetics or the marine humming Jeopardy. These narratives offer us a way to connect with history in a visceral, intriguing way. They really offer a shortcut to being well-informed that goes beyond a typical textbook. Perhaps these stories are not just about the deceased, but about the living's inherent need to process collective trauma and remember forgotten histories through the lens of the supernatural.
That's a perfect way to put it. This deep dive has certainly reinforced the idea that California offers a truly unique blend of sunshine, beauty, and, well, profound mystery. The value of exploring these sources really lies in understanding the layers of history and human experience etched into these places, whether you believe in ghosts or just in the enduring power of a good story.
Maybe the true ghosts aren't always supernatural entities, but the echoes of human experience and emotion that remain etched into the very fabric of our world, waiting for us to listen, to learn, and to truly understand the places we inhabit. So next time you're exploring California, maybe consider what unseen stories might be lurking just beneath the surface. And if you do decide to explore these fascinating, eerie places we've talked about, well, proceed with caution. As the sources warn, they are certainly not for the faint of heart.
An excellent, thought-provoking point to leave us with. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into California's unseen residents. And thank you, our listener, for sharing your fascinating sources with us. If you have a stack of material you'd like us to delve into, please send it our way for a future deep dive on the deep dive. Until next time, stay curious.